Welcome, welcome. Welcome to Just Say Yes with Dr. V. I am Benita Vernado, your favorite holistic physician. This is another episode of Just Say Yes with Dr. V, where I'm just asking you to be open minded and say yes to the life that you were predestined to live. Uh, and sometimes it takes a change of perspective. Takes a change of perspective. I'm excited about today's episode because um, I think we just need to have a conversation. I think we need to have a conversation about. Well, let me just back up and say it's good that we're talking about menopause and perimenopause. It's good. However, we're starting to move into that space where they're trying to monetize it. So we're using fear and a lot of science speak to make something that is just a routine transition in life very technical, which it is technical, but y'all come on because let's have a dialogue about it because I am a physician, but I'm also a perimenopausal woman, and I'm looking at this as um, I think people are trying to figure this out on their own and not getting the support that they need from the medical community, um, but getting kind of stuck in the weeds and just missing the big picture. So thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for watching if you're looking at it on the replay. Let's see. All right. Uh, where do I start? So I was doing and I'm trying to get I'm outside on our balcony, and I'm trying to make sure that I hold my head right so I don't have a glare. So, but I'm gonna just talk. Uh, I'm doing a series on balancing your hormones, and we're going through the lifestyle pillars. So, we've already done exercise, how to balance your hormones through exercise, and how to balance them through food. Next up was sleep. But I got this revelation. Well, first of all, I was getting a little down on how I want my practice. I want the impact to be greater, quicker, faster. And Holy Spirit was like, how about you just do the things that I already told you to do? Like, you ain't even done the stuff I told you to do, and you're asking for other things. It's like, just do what I told you to do, and that'll get you further along on your journey. And so I wrote a list of the things that I had not done, and I started doing them, and I got this revelation. And so I'm going to start it off with a story. So I'm going to go back to my college years. So I'm from North Carolina, born and raised in High Point. I went to college at the Hampton University in Hampton, Virginia, which is 4 hours away from High Point. So my parents, even though they could have afforded to have gotten me a car in high school, and I needed a car because I was active in student government, I was the cheerleaders, these jokers never gave me a car because they're like, you don't need a car. We'll take you everywhere you need to go. Anyway, finally, when I went freshman year, you couldn't have a car on campus. But sophomore year, they decided to get me a car. They decided to get me a car so I would drive myself back to Hampton, 4 hours away. Now, I still look back at this, and my son ended up going to Hampton his freshman year as well. And I'm like, I don't know if my parents love me. I say that jokingly. But after they got me this car, they never came back up to campus again to help me move in. They didn't make sure I was okay. They just sent me on my way. I'm like, I was 19 years old. You packed my car up and sent me 4 hours away. But it was fine. There was no problem. I wasn't feeling comfortable with doing that with my son at 20. But anyway, um, so we're going shopping for this car, and I end up. My dad is the one who goes with me. My mom does too. But when we finally purchased the car, I ended up getting this cute little Honda Civic. Oh man, I could have had her probably to this day. It was a brand new in the showroom, 1994, and my dad, um, he taught me into getting the basic car. Now, my dad is a professional in town. This joker, he would buy cars with no AC. I don't know why I was listening to him, but he was like, "Look, get you something that's not going to cost you a lot if it breaks down. So, get a car with manual windows." So he convinced me to get a car where I had to manually roll down the windows. And I mean, it was the basic. One of my friends and my dad, he would have got me any car I wanted, I believe. But I was always very practical, and I wasn't going to empty nobody's bank account. And I wasn't going to empty his bank account with a car, but neither here nor they were like, you probably should step it up. Anyway, I end up getting this purple Honda Civic, 1994, basic. And it's a great car. Y'all know Hondas are good if you just take care of them. And I'm telling y'all, that car literally had 5 miles on it. From day one, my dad said, now make sure that you replace the timing belt. Now, I don't know what the timing belt is, but he's like, make sure you replace the timing belt. I'm like, when do you replace the timing belt? And he was trying to teach me about maintenance and all this stuff, which is why he was like, don't get no highly electrical car because you got to do more stuff to it. You had to replace the timing belt at 50,000 miles. You replace the timing belt at 50,000 miles. I'm like, why are you telling me this now? And it felt like, and I may be wrong, and Dad, if you're watching this, forgive me for misrepresenting you, but it felt like every time I came home, he said, remember, you got to replace the timing belt. You got to replace the timing belt. Okay, Dad, what happens if the timing belt isn't changed? Like, what if I don't do it? He said, well, if the timing belt breaks, if it snaps, your car will not run automatically. And so from his perspective, I guess he's like, he knew that was the one thing. If I'm out on the road and the timing belt broke, I would be stuck, in Virginia on Interstate 58 somewhere in the country by myself. This was also a time where we didn't have cell phones, right? We did not have cell phones. Although I had a bag, they ended up getting me a bag phone that you plug into the light, and I could use it for emergencies. But he knew that in order to prevent something catastrophic, that knowledge of maintenance was going to help me. And he knew how important this was to the life of the car and really to my safety, right? So the revelation I got when I was doing my task that I had put off doing was that a timing belt on a car is just scheduled maintenance. You know it's going to go out. You're prepared for it to go out. You're going to get it replaced. When you start reaching a certain mileage, you're going to be looking and making sure everything is okay. And, you're going to replace it. You're going to get a brand new one. You ain't going to try to fix up the one you got and make it work. You're going to open up the engine, replace the timing belt, and you're going to get a new one. And you can plan for it. That's the thing. So you can avoid a catastrophe. The revelation is that when it comes to perimenopause and menopause, I keep saying that we have got to do something. Life has got to look different when you are transitioning through perimenopause. If you try to do the same thing that you were doing in your 20s and 30s before, menopause is going to be a bumpy transition. Like your body is changing in such a way that it demands that you change your lifestyle. You live a certain way. Like you must do this in order not only to transition through perimenopause, but to set you up for longevity and quality of life in the future. Like you got to change it. You got to do this. We are perimenopause, we're not broken, right? If we're thinking we are cars, we are not broken. We are not headed for the scrapyard. We're not headed for the scrapyard. This is scheduled maintenance. Menopause, perimenopause, this is a part of taking care of the life of the car. This is scheduled maintenance. Now, y'all come on in the comments and you can tell me, or type your comments later on. My analogy doesn't match up perfectly, but y'all, you gonna see where I'm going with this, and we can clean it up so it makes more sense. So the timing belt is basically how we are living our lives, and at this point we need a new maintenance plan. We need to live our lives differently. We just need a new timing belt. Do we need all of the herbs, the supplements, injections, and I'm talking injections here and here and everywhere else? Do we need all of that? Plus minus. But for me, you need to replace the whole timing belt. You don't need to try to fix up the old one. You need to completely replace it. So I went back. This is when I was like, "Ooh, you cooking, God," because I said, let me just see what the timing belt does." So, the timing belt is a mechanical rhythm keeper of your vehicle's engine. I have no mechanical background. I don't know what parts of the car do what. I'm gonna just tell y'all that now. The crankshaft pushes the pistons up and down, while the camshaft controls the intake and exhaust valves. The timing belt connects these two shafts so that the fuel and air enter the cylinder at the exact millisecond the piston drops and the valves close safely before the piston shoots back up. Sounds very technical, sounds very important. The most important thing is that this is an integral part of how the car works. If this don't work right, the car does not run. All right. So the timing belt is lifestyle. If your lifestyle ain't right, the body ain't working how it's supposed to work. Let me cook. All right. If your lifestyle's not right, the car is in disrepair. And so it's like, okay, well, some of the things that we treat, I mean, y'all really keep us in business, seriously. My dad, he's a dentist, and he always used to say, if people would brush their teeth and floss, we would be out of a job. like like prevention is everything. But unfortunately, the model of our healthcare system is not built on preventing disease, it's built on treating disease. So we're going to be talking about prevention. That's always what I'm about. Foundation and lifestyle is key to that. So I just had a few points, and the first one was that the timing belt is vital to how the car functions. The second point is you have to replace the timing belt based on mileage, not on years. You replace the timing belt based on mileage, not on years. All right. So, what my dad kept saying, 50,000 miles, you're going to have to replace the timing belt. You're going to have to replace the timing belt at 50,000 miles. Okay. Now, this is saying that the timing belt usually is replaced between 60 and 105,000 miles, or every 7 to 10 years. Now, let me just say the timing belt where it is, and I'll come back to this, is deep in the engine. So it's not something that they can just peek at every time you get an oil change and say your timing belt is good. Um, but it's based on mileage. Okay, so let's compare this to perimenopause and menopause. Like, some women are going through menopause in their early 40s. Some women are going through menopause in their mid 50s. Menopause, the definition of menopause is when you've had no period for a whole year. If you've had a hysterectomy, or if you have some procedure that doesn't allow you to have a period, you know you're in menopause if you still have ovaries, when you start having hot flashes, your skin start changes, night sweats, you just difficulty losing weight, or you start gaining weight. These are signs of perimenopause and menopause. All right. So there are some things that we do and how we live that we absolutely can cause menopause and perimenopause earlier. Now, some of it we think is genetic, right? You have the number of follicles that you ever are going to have at the time you are conceived. They peak at 20, and you start at 20 weeks as a fetus, and you start to lose it from there. So hey, maybe you just weren't born with as many follicles. But really, lifestyle, like everything, does affect longevity of your organs. And one thing that definitely speeds up the process of ovarian decline is smoking. Is smoking. Like, smoking, that messes up a whole bunch of organ systems. But that's definitely one of those areas where um, you start to age your ovaries. Inflammation, chronic stress, all of these things also do affect your ovaries. How you're living your life affects the quality of your ovarian health. But again, some of it is genetic. Um, Endometriosis, and there's some gynecologic conditions that can cause you to go into menopause early because the ovaries are damaged. Why do I keep harping back to the ovaries? Because the ovaries are the gland, the organ that is making your estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. And so, if you don't have enough estrogen, that's when you start to have perimenopausal symptoms, and eventually will go into menopause. So I just say to you want your ovaries to function as long as you can without needing assistance or pharmaceuticals or any medicinal help. Live your life in a way, give it the right food, avoid toxicities it being introduced into your body. Pay attention to your gynecologic health, get on top of problems early to extend the life of your ovaries. Ovaries are great. And this is an aside. When I was coming up and we were training, they were saying, when I was coming up as an OBGYN resident, if somebody's getting a hysterectomy and they're close to 50, go ahead and take their ovaries. We know better now. Now they say, maybe just take them at 60s, but we know they're still working and they're still providing some benefit. So if you're going to have a hysterectomy and there's no pre-genetic, or you don't have a cancer risk that they have documented through genetics, keep your ovaries. Keep your ovaries. Of course, listen to your doctor, but um, if they going in there, don't just take them out just to take them out. They would never take a man's testicles, just so you know. They wouldn't just be taking testicles just to be taking them. I'll leave it there. All right. So replacing the timing belt is based on mileage, not years. So if you live your life in a way, you can get more mileage out of your ovaries. So improve your lifestyle, live a healthier lifestyle. The other thing is you have to consult with the owner's manual on when you need to change the timing belt. So Listen to your body, get checkups, figure out what is going on, what is best for your body. Because now this is part of where my analogy might not be working good, but y'all know what I'm saying. Listen to your body and really optimize your health. Really optimize your health because everybody is different, right? We in our morning group we had a chiropractor, and she always used to use the acronym pain. Pay attention inside now. Don't ignore stuff. So if stuff is hurting, pay attention. It's giving you a signal. And that goes for physical health as well as mental health. If something is causing you to lose sleep at night, something is on your mind, pay attention inside now. Pay attention. Consult the owner's manual. You know your body. Maybe you don't have all of the medical terms, but you understand when you're not functioning at your best. So just pay attention, get the help that you need. All right. How am I doing on time? Oh, Lord, y'all. This is why we need to have a conversation and stay on task. Um, yes. Okay. So if the timing belt snaps, the car doesn't run, the car doesn't work, right? So we want to prepare, and we want this to be a planned thing when we change our timing belt, right? We don't want to be in a situation that all of a sudden the timing belt snaps and we're stuck. Going back to our lifestyle, like we don't want to reach midlife. We haven't taken care of our bodies. And now all of a sudden we've got diabetes, we got hypertension on top of perimenopause, and our body is just breaking down. We don't want that. Um, there was so again, yeah, I'm not a mechanic. I know nothing about cars. I know some things. Let me not say that. But about the engine, I don't know all of the details. But based on a few things before I forgot. The timing belt needs to be replaced. If you have a timing chain, it will it will last the life of the car if you've got a timing chain. So there's a timing chain and there is a timing belt. The timing belt will snap and you have a catastrophe. The timing chain takes a licking and keeps on ticking. So my question, and if somebody knows the answer, help me. My question is, why don't they just make cars with timing chains instead of timing belts? Surely there's an answer to that. But going with our analogy of timing belt being lifestyle, the way you live, there are cultures, and I'm going to say this, yes, outside of America primarily, where they got timing chains in their cars that last the duration, that go the duration. They don't have stuff snapping and stuff breaking down because they live their life in a way where when menopause comes, it's not this big roller coaster. Yes, they have some changes, but it is not this like, woe is me. I got to be on all these medicines. I can't think. Like it's not that. And I'm here to tell you that other women and other cultures, um, particularly in Japan, where they drink a lot of green tea, they eat a lot of soy, phytoestrogens. They have a primarily plant based diet. Meat is seasoning. It's not like the main thing. They live in community. They naturally exercise. They naturally move. They don't even have a word for hot flashes in their language. They don't have a word for it. How do they not have a word for hot flashes? That's the main symptom of perimenopause. That's because they got a timing chain, y'all. They live in their lives so that they can withstand some of the ebbs and flows. Timing chain. I'm just saying. All right. But going back to this analogy, depending on your car, how your car and your engine is built depends on what happens when the timing belt snaps. So if you got an interface engine, which is the most common engine, everything is all together in the same space. So when the timing belt snaps, you're done. If it's a non-interference engine, which is probably what my little Honda Civic 1994 was, it would snap the car. You would just need to put on a new timing belt and just get a tow to the mechanic, and they put on a new timing belt. You be on your way. All right. So Dr. V, help me with the analogy. The interface engine is you're already coming into menopause sick. You're already coming into menopause overweight, obese. You're already coming into menopause, no muscle mass, no strength. You're already coming into menopause with high blood pressure. So when menopause hits and causes a fluctuation, your your whole system is turned upside down. As opposed to, let me reference my notes, the non-interface engine, where if you've taken care of yourself up to this point, menopause isn't as drastic and doesn't have as much of an impact. I'm telling y'all, I know this. I've been practicing for over 20 years. This is not everybody's story. But depending on how you come into menopause and what conditions you have already going on in your body, that impacts your experience and how you move through perimenopause and menopause. So, traditionally, when I would have patients in their 30s, I would talk about two things at the 30-year-old visit. If they weren't married and hadn't had children, what are your plans for a family? Maybe you want to consider freezing your eggs. So you got options later on. But also start developing good habits. Start building muscle mass. Start exercising. Start really focusing on a healthy lifestyle, because bone density peaks in our 20s, declines from there. Muscle mass peaks, I think it's in our 30s, 40s. And when we start going through perimenopause and our estrogen levels go down, our muscle mass starts to decline. So you want to have a good foundation on these things that we know are going to decline. Again, this is scheduled maintenance. We already know God is not caught off guard by you going through menopause. Menopause is as predictable as puberty. As predictable. When you went through puberty and you started getting breasts and hips and started your period, nobody was surprised. Nobody was like, "Oh my gosh, Dios míos, like what's going on? What the heck?" No, nobody was surprised. It is as predictable. We know what's going to happen to your body. Um, Now I'm in it, y'all. So I'm just saying, I'm out here in these streets too. It feels like you are on a roller coaster. So I read my textbook. I know what's supposed to be going on, what I'm feeling, and what I'm seeing on that scale is different. But anyway, I digress. I don't know. I don't see any comments, so y'all, I'm gonna keep talking. Um, so yes, I got off, but that goes into my next point. Just plan for the replacement. Just know that it's coming up. Just know that there's some things that we're gonna have to do, uh, that we're not broken. Okay, remember, y'all, we're functioning off of a new paradigm. This is normal. It's normal for our ovaries not to work in our 60s. We do not want to be pregnant at 65. This is why the ovaries got to shut down. Okay, so this is a good thing. This is a good thing. I see patients in their home, and the other day, one of the women I visit, she was 65, and I came in and she had Infamil on the table, and I was like, you got a baby? I said, oh, you got a grandbaby that comes and visits. Lo and behold, she was taking care of her step granddaughter at 9 weeks old by herself. A 65-year-old taking care of a 9 week old baby. She brought her home from the hospital because the stepdaughter was unable to care for her. And you talk about someone doing something out of season, she was like, baby, we ain't meant to be taking care of no babies, no newborns at 65. But anyway, all right, let me see. My last point. Oh, that was my timing chain versus the timing belt. So, um, big picture from this episode. New perspective. We're not broken. Menopause is just scheduled maintenance. This is just something we're going to go through. We just got to do the maintenance, put in a new timing belt, and keep it moving. Matter of fact, after I get off of this, I'm going to the gym. I started strength training. That was another download I got. The benefits of strength training. I can't wait to share with you guys. I think I'm Wonder Woman because I started lifting weights, like heavy weights. I think I'm Wonder Woman. And that is helping my mental health. And it's going to help my weight. It is going to help my mood. It's going to get my snapback, like all the things, just because I'm lifting weights. And women in midlife, if you are not strength training, you are playing. You are fooling yourself. You are kidding yourselves. You are playing. I won't hear no complaining. And I'm just joking because I hear complaints for a living. But you got to do something. And if one thing that you must do is strength training, because you're losing muscle, and muscle is so important, and it sets you up for longevity. We're not broken. We don't have, this doesn't have to be catastrophic. There are clear things that we know that you can do, that you will feel better. I know you feel bad. I know you feel bad. I know you don't have any energy. I didn't either. I was talking to one of my friends today who was really, she was like, I need you to really lean into this perimenopause space, like for real. I know you're trying to do this whole wellness thing, but I need you to speak to perimenopausal women. There was a time where I couldn't remember my zip code, like could not. And when it came back to me, I was saying my zip code from my childhood home. I know how you feel. I know how you feel, but there are things that we can do. Sleep is going to be so huge. What we're eating and putting in our bodies is a game changer. How we move, how we stress. Hey, Zandra, thank you for letting me know. You have so many questions. Oh, hi, Tiny. I saw you at the Menopause Summit. The links. Shout out to the links of Greensboro. Yeah, this is a great conversation. You don't have to go through it alone. And some of this stuff is like really, really scary. Like, um, it's scary. I'm a just full transparency. Um, I saw a number on the scale that I have never ever seen before in my entire life, y'all. I tell the story. I'm gonna just be honest. Just started swimming and I love it. Oh yes. Oh, Ivory girl. Black women and hair and swimming. We need to have a whole, you know what? You need to come on. That's a whole episode, because swimming is a wonderful form of exercise. It's a wonderful form of exercise, but our hair keeps us out of the water. Anyway, take notes, y'all. Um, so I tell the story. My son was born in 2006, and he was born on a Wednesday. My last OB visit before he was born was on a Wednesday, and I weighed 199 pounds. He was born the next Wednesday, so I never went back to the office to weigh myself. So I never saw 200 pounds on the scale. But I'm sure, I know without a doubt, like when I left the office, I was probably 200 pounds. You know how you retain fluid and stuff. I got back off this cruise a few days ago, 202 pounds. What? What? I'm 5'5". Most people who look at me don't, I usually, I was staying at 170, and I thought I looked decent. Um, but if you were to see me, you probably wouldn't think that I weighed that much, and a lot of you guys can say the same thing. But 202 pounds. What is going on? What's going on? Now, you know how you eat on a cruise like 6 times a day, and all of those times include eating ice cream. So I am happy to report a few days ago I was 199.6. Whoop, whoop, whoop. But what I am saying is that my clothes fit differently. My clothes don't fit right. I'm gaining weight in the middle. And again, that's as predictable as me getting breasts and hips in puberty. Your body shifts and the weight starts to deposit on your abdomen. We can talk more about that, but that's as we know that's what happens. It's called the spare tire. So stuff doesn't fit right, and it does feel distressing. But the things that I've done, as far as I've increased exercise, I've started strength training. I'm leaning in to more of my purpose. I'm letting go of some of the things. So as a physician, I have lots of skills, but as a believer, I have an assignment. And so the more I've leaned into my assignment, that has really helped me with my stress and my mental health tremendously. Tiny says it's terrifying, but doctors don't give you the real. Yeah. So Tiny, this is really, really sad to say, and I was working on a menopause certification, and I'm still, anytime you get these certifications, I really think it's a money grab. In order to get a menopause certification, you take a test, but the test costs like $750. Um, and I'm like, do I really need a menopause certification? But it lets you as a patient know that I've gone the extra mile to be trained in menopause. So when you say doctors don't give you the real, sometimes they don't understand the real. They don't understand what's really happening with our bodies. When we go through training in our residency, in our OBGYN training, now we the specialists, right? We're the specialists. If anybody knows anything about menopause, it's going to be us. We didn't get that much training in menopause. Now, I graduated medical school in 2002 and residency in 2006. So hopefully it's a little bit better now. But what I'm hearing is it's not much better. Um, when I started studying this menopause training, there's all these phases of menopause that I wasn't aware of. So but I knew I was managing it, I was treating it, I was helping women through it. Um, I was learning from my patients. Ooh, y'all. That's why community is so important. I learned from my patients. If you're trying to cut down on hot flashes, you better ditch that sugar. Ditch the sugar or reduce it. Cut out caffeine. Like I learned all of these things from my patients. So I feel like I was doing a good job of helping women transition through it. But there's something called anticipatory guidance, and telling people what's up ahead, it helps them feel better about what they're getting ready to go through. Like when you're pregnant, everybody knows at the end of the trimester, your feet gonna start to swell. Maybe your nose gonna spread. But if you're a first time mom and you don't know that, when you look down and your feet look like, two sausages, like your toes look like sausages, that'll freak you out. But if I prepare you and say, hey, this is just a normal part, I can tell you what's happening in your body. This is normal. You might not like it, but at least it doesn't scare you because this is a normal part of the process. So, um, strength training knee issues doesn't go hand in hand. And sorry. Thank you for saying sorry. I'm not sure what you're saying sorry about, but thank you for saying sorry. So yes, strength training and knee issues. So let me speak to that. And thank you for saying that, because you read the owner's manual. You got knee problems. So the question is, oh, Zandra can't do any strength training because she has knee problems? No. There's certain things that she has to avoid, but she can still do strength training. Um, water aerobics. It is, you are 10% of your body weight. You are 10% of your body weight in the water. So, can you strength train in the water? Absolutely, yes, you can. Are there certain muscles that you need to strengthen before you start doing certain things? So, I've had some knee issues. I had a torn meniscus. I've had some SI joint issues, and a lot of times when it comes to joints in particular, you need to strengthen the muscles around that particular joint to help that joint work better. So you are right. Um, it is, you know, your body, seek the help that you need, but you can do chair exercises. There's certain things that you can do, and there is a professional that can help you um, improve your mobility, improve your muscle mass, and muscle mass in a way that you're not going to hurt yourself. And let's not forget, one of the symptoms of perimenopause is joint pain. Y'all, this finger right here, ooh, I didn't hurt it. I didn't do nothing, but my fingers are hurting. I was playing pickleball, and this was like a few years back. I needed to end up getting an injection in my elbow. I couldn't even like hold my phone because it was so uncomfortable. Another common thing that happened is frozen shoulder. Some women through perimenopause will get a frozen shoulder. So yeah. Let's see. She said, I left out that out my sentence. Okay. All right. Well, I gotta go to the gym, and it is 7:48, and we supposed to be leaving at 8. So yeah, y'all stay tuned. Also, I see all of you on here. I did. Oh, you did too. Decent. Mm-hmm. Lots of it. Okay. So look, I'm gonna go ahead. Let me put my let's connect. Um Connect with me, Zandra, because I would love for you to be in a group I'm getting ready to tell you guys about. But yeah, you probably do still have issues with your knee. If I'm a betting woman and you don't have to say yes or no, they either, for in general, you need to go to, they usually send you to physical therapy after you have some type of knee surgery. Sometimes they absolutely do not. If you are sent to physical therapy, if you're sent to physical therapy, you must do the exercises that they tell you to do. You must do the exercises that they tell you to do. If you don't do them, you're going to still have problems. I have an unstable SI joint. The SI joint is, there's a vertebrae in the back, and then your hip attaches. The SI joint is where your pelvis attaches to your backbone. And my chiropractor, shout out to Dr. Ingrid at Absolute Wellness. She was like, you need to strengthen your glutes because your glutes are weak. That joint is moving. And I was trying to run. I was trying to do the most. She was like, you got to strength train. If you're going to be a runner, you got to strength train. But specifically, you've got weak glutes. And when you're running, you need strong glutes anyway. Because of perimenopause, I started strength training, and I started doing the exercises that Dr. Ingrid told me to do. And guess what happened? My SI joint pain got better. Like when I started walking, it didn't hurt anymore because my muscles were weak. And so, you know, as we get older, your muscles are going to weaken. That is why strength training is so important, and you're going to have aches and pains. But yes, real quick, let me just tell you, and I'll be putting it out on social media. I am putting out a call. So I had a move challenge, move through menopause, or move through peri/menopause is what I'm calling it. And it was supposed to start July 1st. But we had some technical difficulties. So it's going to be starting next Monday, and I am looking for some beta testers. It's going to be completely free, but it is a very simple challenge where the focus is just to get you moving and to get some consistency. on some very simple, small changes. So the original challenge is you have to move 10 minutes every day for 10 days, and then 20 minutes for 20 days. Very simple. You can't give me no excuses and be Dr. V. I just couldn't move for 10 days. You couldn't say I got knee issues and I couldn't move. Like I couldn't stomp my feet and stand in place. Like I couldn't sit in a chair and raise my arms. Like just move. It's that simple. But the beauty of it is that we meet weekly on Zoom, on Sunday nights before the upcoming week. And so we're going to be in community with other midlife women. And I'm going to educate you on how to transition better through this time of your life. We're going to have some accountability, but we're also going to have some, girl, let me just tell you what's going on in my body. And there's going to be some, me too, you too, this is what I did, da 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 da. Community. That's the secret sauce, accountability as well. So I am looking for some beta testers. And the link is going to, I think we're going to open it up tomorrow. It'll be on my webpage. But I'll also be putting it out on Facebook and on social media. And for those of you who showed up this evening, for those of you who are watching, Monique, yes, Monique is one of the key people that was like, this ain't working. This ain't working. Love you, Monique, because you just don't know what you don't know. And you can test stuff, but until you test it with new, fresh eyes, which you all are new eyes, you don't know what you need to fix. So please, please, please consider joining. It's going to be for 21 days. It's going to be for 21 days. And I look forward to having these discussions with you guys, meeting you face to face. YouTube Live is great, but I prefer just talking to people. I really do. Um, so, anyway, I got to end it, right? Y'all have a wonderful evening. Remember, you're not broken. You're not broken. Menopause is just scheduled maintenance. You just got to change your lifestyle. And I am here to help you do that. And we will do it together. So, y'all have a great evening. And I will see you next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, live here on YouTube for another episode of Just Say Yes with Dr. V. Love y'all. Take care.